This is Sybert signing into Generals Evolution here on the map Fords of Dvina for a 1v1, our first and perhaps our last of the 0.32 patch. In the north, playing the blue, you know him, you love him, he's China Nuke. This is ClouD. Good old Claudy boy playing his signature blue, and in the bottom right hand corner, not from Red Alert 3, playing the GLA Tox, it's Andrey. For those of you who aren't aware, there is a Red Alert 3 player, also named Andrey, but apparently this is a different player. So Red Alert 3 is the base game upon which the mod of Generals Evolution, download link in the description, is played. So you have some GenEvo action with Red Alert 3, but two players named Andrey, not the same folk entirely. So we have GLA Toxin versus China Nuke, and it's on a map that I have not seen. One of the things that I am liking about this map is there are 4 attack paths that are crossing the map, and they're reasonably wide and also indestructible. So looks like we do have a garrisonable structure, an artillery platform, nothing, a 1 garrisonable structure in the middle, and then it's mirrored on the other side. So overall, it should be a pretty open map. Generally, that works better for Generals Evolution, although the 1v1 maps tend to be more open. It's only some of the team maps that are a little bit choked up. And this seems like a pretty big map. I feel like the drive time for these tanks is quite long. A couple of RPG troopers going to be catching one of those nuclear battle masters. And as you can see, ClouD is going for some early battle master action. And it looks like he is intentionally going to be driving them as close to enemy targets as possible, because battle masters, nuclear battle masters, before you get the stabilizing isotope upgrade, do friendly fire and also, of course, massive damage to your enemies. So keeping them away from each other is very important. And that's why you see them coming in one at a time, split up into different areas. Double expansion coming out here from ClouD. Single expansion coming out, not even an expansion yet, from Andrey. Okay, there's going to be the expansion up in the north. So he is not going for the close supply dock just yet. Instead, he is going for the one that's a little bit further away. Tunnel network going to be established just out of range, and the worker truck is too slow. Bunker is going to be added into the mix. Dragon tank and a battle master coming in. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, it's going to be a dragon tank clearing out that building. Goodbye to the RPG trooper and GLA Toxin. They get the Toxin tunnel network, and there's nothing actually inside of this bunker. This is entirely a delay tactic at this point. Whether or not it was intended to be, it is at this moment just a bullet sponge. This bunker is doing nothing for nobody. Dragon tank steps forward. Dragon tank gets shut down by the Gats. Meanwhile, in the bottom left-hand corner, the fight continues. The Battlemaster has gone down, and there the RPG troopers get eliminated. Just enough firepower to kill off that tunnel network as well. In the north, though, double civ structure with another civ structure there and a tunnel network. This is actually a pretty fortified position. If you get all of these buildings, all 3 of them can house 3 units as well. That does make it a lot more difficult for a player to break it. We see toxin tractors and dragon tanks de-emphasized oftentimes in matches, so you would have to produce those units specifically to deal with that, and then that does act as a good early warning system for any other future units. 2 supply trucks going to be going down, I should assume. Yes, okay. They will both be eliminated there. And ClouD a little bit slow to respond. He will get the Battlemaster tank over there, but all of the units do survive for now. Tunnel network in the north. Hasn't actually been spotted. This dragon tank needs to get up there and clear out that tunnel network before anything else comes out of there. 3 Gats, 3 quad cannons rather, crossing the middle of the map. And I think this Dragon Tank will see. No, there's going to be the quad pop, and the Battlemaster on the right side of the map going to be taking the fight to that tunnel network. Meanwhile, 5 quads into the back of the base. A couple of Toxin troopers going to be, or Toxin RPG troopers rather, going to be going for that war factory. The fight getting split up onto 3 or 4 different fronts at the same time, and ClouD is just not responding. It seems gone are the days of ClouD being unbeatable, as he is being out multitasked right now by Andrey playing GLA. One war factory survives, the other goes down to the quads. And meanwhile, on the south side of the map, Battlemaster and a Dragon Tank going to be pushing forward. The other Battlemaster going down. And these nuclear Battlemasters, they are powerful, but they have just lost the propaganda center, the tech reset for the China player, as well as losing one of the war factories, and everything else gets cleaned up. Andrey is just crushing the fights, but does he have the units to do anything else? Because now the entire army, well, I guess with the exception of this outpost down here, the entire army of ClouD is now concentrated in an extremely small area. I think he'll be able to hold off any attacks for the next 2 to 3 minutes with just the units that he's already got out on the field. That was an amazing sequence by Andrey to get the 1, 2, 3, 4 punch landed there. Double, triple Battlemaster. One Toxin RPG trooper goes golden. He's throwing knives and he's ending lives as he stutter steps his way forward and just annihilates an entire range of nuclear Battlemasters. And well, that's why you do want to get that stabilizing isotope. It seems like he didn't get the upgrade, and it seems like a couple of those nuclear Battlemasters went down in part to the friendly fire. Another tunnel network on the high ground, kind of tucked away into the corner, and meanwhile, a lot of quad cannons crossing the middle of the map. I don't know that we even have any other units of significance from this GLA player. No Scorpions, and that Battlemaster did actually make it up close and personal to the quads. No Battlemasters, or no Scorpions, and no rocket buggies. But we also don't have any aircraft coming in from our Chinese player. China Nuke gets the nuclear MiGs, and they can be extremely powerful at corralling GLA forces. However, ClouD, he wanted to open up with ground, and since then he has not had an opportunity to build out his air force. He has been on defensive mode for a couple of minutes, and this attack is looking primed to keep him corralled in this base. This expansion is the lifeline of ClouD, untouched, and allowing him to have a relatively steady income throughout the course of this match. Quad cannons pushing it. Are they just completely ignoring everything on the right side here, trying to deal with that GAT cannon? ECM's going to try and shut down the quads, and this is a lot of RPG troopers, so the ECMs will help to deflect some of the rockets. Nuclear Overlord shows up onto the front line. Maybe he can finally target down these quads and eliminate them, allowing the RPG troopers to be dealt with more easily. More quad reinforcements coming in. A fresh batch of 12+ quads rolling up to the front line here. And it's going to be another Nuclear Overlord onto the front line. What units are left are going to have to fight it out with now just quad cannons, as pretty much as... No, there is still actually a decent number of RPG troopers. Cluster Mine does deploy. Arty Strike finds a couple of quads, and the 2 Overlords will hold their own. They both survive the fight, and the RPGs get eliminated. More quad cannons coming in. Scan to reveal. And it's going to be quad cannons trying to find the front line, but the rest of the forces have all gone down. So what should have been a reinforcement wave already cut short by 2 units getting caught by the mines, 3 even getting caught by the mines. It's a Toxin Rebel surprise as yet another quad cannon goes down. And at this point, Andrey probably should have just focused more on eliminating that corner expansion. He has lost so much trying to break this front door, and he has gotten almost nothing for it. Overlord comes in, and that is going to be 2 dead quad cannons. The Destruction Derby rolls into town, and this is now a lot of nuclear overlords. A decent number of them on full health as well, 2 of them down below half. Toxin Rebel RPG troopers stepping up to the front line. A fresh batch of them. First ECM goes down. Second, 2 ECMs rolling up to the front line. 3 ECMs even to try and deflect some of these missiles. And the RPG troopers plus the quads have been the bread and butter of this GLA player. No Scorps, no rockets, nothing else to mix in. Quad cannons go down. RPG troopers on the front line gonna have a tough time dealing with the GATs on top of these nuclear overlords as another ECM rolls up to the front line. 1 overlord going down, but 2 are very low on health. And the front line moving forward in the south as well. A fresh line of tunnel networks established by Andrey, but he has not done much more than that. This double expansion in the north. Oh, he didn't even take that supply stash. I guess he's doing fine on cash. He was floating 10 grand earlier. He's got a 8.5k per minute, and he was floating quite a bit of cash, but he has spent through a lot of that now, so perhaps a new expansion is in the cards for Andrey. ClouD just completely corralled and on the defensive for now 3/4 of this game. Long gone are the days of ClouD's ground assault on the southern half of the map. Another 2, 3, 4 quads going down. RPG troopers are all that stand, and the tunnel networks will buy some time as the China player will chew through those toxin tunnels one at a time. ECM's going to be deflecting more rockets, but as long as the overlords are untouched and able to put out that damage, then ClouD is going to be happy with this situation. Quads pop out of the tunnel network, and that's going to be 2 quads done before the fight can even begin. 2 more get eliminated, and that's 4 fresh quads straight in the dirt out of the tunnel network, but they might as well have stayed underground. And finally, everything gets cleaned up. ClouD manages to push back the first wave of the tunnel networks, but he now has to mount the very slight hill to the high ground and make it up here. New cannon is here. Shots are landing, eating the radiation as all of these units have not been pulled back. Double tunnel, no, it's a tunnel network and a supply stash. A curious choice there, considering how close he is to the base. Meanwhile, in the south, RPG Trooper is going to be able to take down that GAT. The rest of the expansion may be short to follow. ClouD has an opportunity to respond this time. Cluster Mine gets deployed just in time. And yeah, both of those tunnel network and the supply stash go down. Rocket Buggy's now out. We have no nuclear MiGs to deal with them. We have no aircraft at all to cut down any of these forces. And there goes the nuke cannon, easily sniped by these rocket buggies. Another shot fires off. Another quad cannon goes down. Rocket buggies going for their hit and run. This is why some players hate playing against GLA, is the rocket buggies. Exactly. Another nuke cannon going down. More rocket buggies popping out, sniping, hitting, and running as the ECMs lock down 2. The overlords deal with a 3rd, and as soon as ClouD tries to move out of his base, there's a fresh volley of rockets in his face, knocking on the door of that war factory, and the airfield is now being added into the mix. Arty Strike coming in, gonna smash into something, maybe the war factory, as the Arty Strike spawns in on the mini-map, but it's actually sort of, I guess, flying through the air or something. Supply stash gets established in the north, but not for long. It gets eliminated, and meanwhile in the south, it's more RPG troopers going to be trying to fight it out with the tank hunters. If the Gat cannon gets established, it might be out of range of that building, but the barracks also goes down. ClouD, he has played this one slow and steady, but now we are seeing the power come back online, and he doesn't have a lot of cash in the bank, but that's because he's got so much available in his army. Tunnel networks being an essential part of the GLA arsenal, and they're getting cut down one by one. These rocket buggies are still managing to find an angle here to attack these two heroic nuclear overlords, one double vet, and the one that's low health is now going to try and fight these rocket buggies. Toxin Rebel, surprise, on the other side of the map, snipes a couple of supply trucks, and that airfield, it did manage to get established, but not much else has happened for it. And that's going to be a nuclear explosion to end a couple of rocket buggies. Drive straight into the mines, and the rocket buggies are finding the static defense of ClouD to be difficult to deal with. Toxin Rebels, they got the kill on the supply trucks, and then they went silent, waiting for the double helix to show up and gun them down. And now, past the 15-minute mark, ClouD has finally crossed the river, the Rubicon, to the southern half of the map. He is here for an assault. His army is not passing over in peace, but rather it's here to end the reign of terror, and the 1-2 punch of the EMP as well. Gonna be shutting down some of those frontline defenses, but it misses the rocket buggies. And the rocket buggies have now eliminated the last ECM, which means these final overlords have no defense against the much faster moving rockety boys, slamming another salvo into these overlords and knocking them down. It was a good 1-2 punch with the support powers coming in. One last volley. That AP ammo upgrade is vital. There we go. Last nuclear overlord does go down. That was a great 1-2 punch, damaging the palace, knocking some health off of the black market, shutting down the war factory, but then that EMP was just not followed up by anything. Nuke cannon manages to land the shot on that rocket buggy, and this supply center has not been touched. The fight has gone furious into almost every corner of the map in the last few minutes, and that means these players have forgotten a few extra things. These RPG troopers inside the Civ structure probably could have made their way down to this southern building and gone for another angle of attack on that expansion. But for now, it'll be the rocket buggies who get the glory. The RPG troopers cleared out everything else, and the rocket buggies are going to get the final say. Meanwhile, in the north, looks like another tunnel network shortly dealt with by the nuclear overlords. Only one nuclear overlord has been rebuilt from the earlier mass of them. And one double helix makes its way into the GLA base, finds some openings, finds some opportunities, and will shut down the war factory. No production for you. One more unit will be produced in time, but I think with these rocket troopers inside, with the tank hunters in there, that quad cannon didn't stand a chance, and now the war factory goes down. The black market is here. Another war factory is being established, but what good is cash when you don't have any production facilities to build it with? And the helix could, in theory, deal with the rocket buggies, but you have to get close enough to the rocket buggies to be able to shut them down. And I guess this will be an infinite game of whack-a-mole, because as soon as the arms dealer gets constructed, it'll get shut down by the double helix, but then the double helix has so many more targets to fire at. And okay, another arms dealer is not coming up. Yeah, he's not even going to try and sneak out a worker. As long as that double helix is attentive, he can snipe the workers, but can he actually always stay on top of them? Rocket buggies are going to try and make this a base race. They dodge the carpet bombing, no problem there. It's all about the dodge and weave. MiG shows up. MiG gets the kill on one of the rocket buggies, but not on the others, and they drive straight into a minefield. Artie Strike lands on top of the tunnel network, and that's just it. ClouD does it. That one double helix on the other side of the map, loaded up with tank busters and a gat cannon, doing massive work for ClouD to end the game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. The 1v1 delivers on the entertainment factor. Andrey and ClouD coming in clutch here in General's Evolution. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.